All right, what's happening? We are back for another transmission of the Astro Weather. I'm Robert Phoenix. And you. And coming off a marathon, 3+ hour Astro Jam and the man David Palmer last night. If you haven't gotten enough astrology, well, you got more coming at you today. So thanks for being here. I hope you enjoyed last night's show. Got a little spicy there, didn't it? We had it's always interesting connecting with like other groups. I was talking to Joan about it this morning, and it was like, I never have any of these flare-ups on my shows. It's like, gee, I wonder why. It's it's a little staticky. I'm not sure what to tell you about that. Yeah, I don't know. Here, let me just check my mic settings. Hold on a second. That should be better right there. There we go. This is just par for the course with StreamYard. Just doesn't remember my settings. The audacity of this software interface to not remember the not remember my settings. Anyway, I just want going through something like that last night just makes me appreciate all of you even more because you guys get it. You guys get it, and you're not. How would I say this? You're not irrationally judgmental. Let's put it that way. You're not irrational, and I appreciate that. And last night made me appreciate it even more. And it was like, I don't know, dealing with this like a really annoying mosquito. That's what it was like. Anyway, we got through it and dealt with it, and it was, I think, a really good show. David and I covered a lot of ground, and I'm not sure. I'm trying to think if there was something that I wanted to talk about and we didn't get to. I don't think so. I think we covered all the bases and then some, actually. Yeah. I mean, the whole discussion with Neptune and Aries, and then Saturn coming in Aries, just really. This is one of the things that I love about doing a live with David is we all have our sort of thought processes and intellectual processes that allow us to connect in with other ideas or information, and that happened last night. And it was just we were pondering this whole concept of Neptune and Aries and what that could possibly mean, and this whole idea of one religion to rule them all kind of really came to the surface for me. And I wish we could have explored that a little bit more, but maybe I'll do that like on a Sunday night. I think that'd be an interesting dive into that idea. Anyway, let's see who we got here today. We got my man, DJ MC Misbehaving too. The new next, checking in from Oklahoma, Barbara Boots from Gettysburg. The Bernese Mountain Dog Club of America is holding its annual national specialty here. There are hundreds of birders here. I'm about to go into the obedience ring with Enki. Yesterday was draft, tomorrow rally, then draft again on Friday. All right, well, good luck to Enki. May the Aquarian force be with you, Enki. Healing Heart Rosie is here. Thank you, Rosie. Jackie Delario. Liddy Lou with us. There she is. 30 days had September, April, June, and November. Fell asleep listening to Robert Leo King. We can have a good show. Thanks. Julie Sunshine checking in. It's chilly up there in Michigan. I doubt Robert slept much last night. He and Leo King were on fire. If you're one of the few who missed it, yeah, that's the thing with David. We have the catalytic. We got catalytic conversion going on when we do our live thing. Devin Dewar, thank you. Yeah, it was a great discussion. Artist Sear, Mercury Day, May is approaching. May we all stay focused and live life to the fullest. I'm going to put that right up there. Thanks, Artist Sear. Thanks for the reminder. Very campy with lots of beautiful souls. Excellent. Laura E., 3 days of sunshine in Vermont. Feeling better for it. Go get those rays. Go get those rays. Sue Leonard. Hi, Sue. Good to see you. Don't forget to say tomorrow morning, May Day, also maybe a little extra spiritual warfare affirmation for those that help guide us through the galaxy. F.U. Golden Winter. Let's see. Janice is here. Hey, Janice. May Day only an hour away in Oz. You're ahead of us in time. Julianne Ross. Hi, Julianne. Let's see who else we have. Lana's here. Hi, Lana. There she is, the lovely and talented one, saving Austin 1 tooth at a time. Oh, hammer time. Did you let the hammer drop? They were going after Elizabeth and David. These people. I love spicy banter, but there's a line. I agree. Usually I let people, I don't really pay attention to the chat unless, this is why I have the best mods. I mean, Ryan and Steve and Tom, who else? Ryan, Steve, and Tom are the three main mods, but they don't let a lot of shit take place. So I'm appreciative of that. What's going on, Steve Zarelith? Good to see you, Whit, my man. What's happening, Whit? Let's see. Who else do we have? Big Dave Sullivan is here. What's going on, Dave? Good to see you. Tom is in the house. Lisa Ann White. Kathy Steen. We got a Kathy Steen sighting. Black Hills of South Dakota. Harry Bowie. Hey. Matt Burns. We got Matt Burns with us. Naturally Mother Earth. Just listening to your interview with David. Oh, thank you. Thank you for listening. Janine's with us. My guy, Salty Cow. 16,000 in May. Let's go do it. Like and subscribe. Right on, Salty. Salty, I've been putting up the bovine thumbnails, kind of in your honor. Come on over here, Jasper. Come on over here. There you go. Peachy's abandoned her post this morning. She's not the Astro Weather cat. So we have, guess who? Jasper, the Astro Weather cat. Yeah. My guy. So it looks like we're going to have a jet sighting this weekend. Jet is Joan's new little kitten who is terrorizing her older kitten, older cat. So we get the terror this weekend. Moon Sprout, Melissa Stanton, road trip. Hi, darling. Let's see. Yeah, come over, join locals. It's free, and you can also support the show if you like. Thank you, Janine. Moira, love the color between you and David. It was so rich. Oh, Michael. I have Michael. I can't forget Michael, another mod. Sorry, man. I didn't mean to leave you out of that. Drama in Leoland? Yeah, just a little bit. Just a little bit. Hi, Diane Evans. Esperanza Events. She's back. We got Claire. We got a Claire sighting. Let's see. So is it possible that you and David are going to go live in Texas? More than likely, lucky for you, Janine, probably Arizona. How about that? So you West Coasters can jump on board with that. Stephanie Hunter, great talk with Leo King. Thanks, Stephanie. Yeah, if you want a reading, there you go. Just remember, if you guys get a reading, you purchase a reading, there's that number. Call me. Call me. I know it's strange, right? But I do business old school that way. Jared MC, great talk. Thank you, Jared. Manners make it humanity. Herod, you got a point there. Here we go. We trust you, Robert, and know where you're coming. That's a beautiful thing, right? You guys get it. You guys get it. You're fearless. You're a fearless group. You're a fearless bunch. And you know what? I'm going to say this. There's no hate in your hearts. There's no hate in your hearts. Because I've met a lot of you. And every one of you that I've met, just absolutely exceptional, fine people. And it's a really tremendous blend of being able to see things as clearly as they are and not being shy about it. And even if I am sort of the voice in the world that speaks for you or speaks for part of you, if not all of you, but even if I am that, who I'm representing is a fine and noble cause. So just keep that in mind. Thanks, Sharon. Appreciate that. Somebody was trying to pick up on Esperanza in chat. Well, that's kind of flattering, don't you think, on some level? Get some attention. Green Knight, Prime Astrology Soul. Yes, the needless idiot. Carol Moore, could use a summary. So much discussion. I fell asleep. I wish I could give it to you, but I can't. Not right now. I'm still waking up. Really appreciate the two of you taking the time and not rushing discussion. Thanks, Laura. My man Neil Smith from Wisconsin. What's going on, Neil? Claire managed to stay awake, then stay awake up, then Bad decided to sing. A cat? I don't know. What's a Bad? Bad decided to sing. I'm trying to say cat. I could be wrong. You and Dave are certainly paired to draw. Yeah, there were a lot of people there. There was like 1,500 people in chat last night. Finding the sound is great. Yay. Hey. Yeah, thanks for Joan's reminder. Susan, fashionably late, but you're here. You made it. Lana. Let's see, who else do we have? Claire getting serenaded. What's up, Peachy? You lost your post. You're screwing around. Jasper moved in. He moved in. What are you going to do now? You're going to have to share the post. This is funny. Privacy anti-scam. What's happening? Let's see. The best defense is a good offense. That's what Chuck Norris used to say. So was that Cody? Is that Cody? Cody's been on. I think Cody's been on my chat every now and then. Cody doesn't give me any problems. I think Cody has a beef with David about Zog, because he doesn't think David's hard enough on Zog. I take it for the slack with David on the Zog front. Let's see, who else do we have? Tonight at 1:27 a.m. is my birthday. And that would be tomorrow at 1:27 a.m. But I hear where you're coming from. Hey, happy birthday to you, Green Knight Prime Astrology Soul Advisor. Happy solar return. Let's see. Anybody else? The darkest hour belting. Who comes then? Let's see. Hey, we got JJ. JJ said, "What's happening, JJ? Good to see you." No, thank you. I get it. I understand it. Yeah, I understand it. Thank you for giving us the place to gather. Absolutely. Yeah. Magic Mika, morning for me. Hey, we got Magic Mika in the house. Say hi to my man Rob. We got to get Rob back on the show again. Tell him that. I always connect really well with Rob. I love having him on. He's always got some interesting stuff to talk about. PB. Good to see you, PB. Thank you. We got Jay Shepler from Tucson. What's going on, Jay? Good to see you. Katie Lane. Sup, Katie? Sup, Katie? Let's see. 11,000 kinetic further than that, but if I have to, there are screenshots. I hope they're not damning. Maya Rose. Hi, Maya. Maya, your package is on its way. Slowly. Lisa was lurking. We got Lynette Jardine, Mad Maxine, Maria Donich from sunny Nice. Must be Nice. Ferris, my guy, what's happening? Ferris, we got to catch up. Ferris, I will reach out in the next 24 hours. Been too long. We love you. Sorry for the shouting. Always say, we love having you here, Magic Mika. And wishing you and Ra and the little one nothing but wellness. All right, let's get into the weather. Let me do this thing. I have to say, the start of the day was not easy today. I'm just giving you, I'm front loading this thing because it was not an easy start of the day. Let's put it that way. We got two of them. Okay. All right, let me do this StreamYard thing where I summon the image and the image doesn't come. And then I have to resummon the image. And so there we go. There's that. But of course, I won't be able to see it. You won't be able to see it. But if I go back to StreamYard and close it out and stop sharing, then I can do it again. And guess what? This time it will work. Because I know what to do. There you go. All right. Okay. So we're still in the throes of this Mars-Pluto opposition. Mars, Sun square, Pluto, Sun square. I feel like some of that got played out last night during the show. I feel like we were in the pincer of the T square, and people were getting inflamed, literally inflamed. And fixed, when you get into these fixed T squares, it's really interesting just getting into, like, you could just see it. You could see the fixed T square last night. Like, some people were fixed. I mean, they were literally fixed on their POV. And it was alarming. And again, I harken back to the beginning of the show where I was talking about how much I appreciate you guys, because, like, you don't agree with everything that I say. So you're not a bunch of just nodding rulers, right? You're not that, you don't agree with everything I say. But the beautiful thing about it is that you agree with enough, and the parts that you don't agree with may be, marginal or fractional. It could be like, language or, a perspective that you may have had, and you may not necessarily share it because of your personal experience. But by and large, right, there's also latitude. You guys have latitude. And what I saw last night, at least from a couple people, there was no latitude. They were the fixed T-square. They were locked in. They couldn't. You could only hear what their bias and what their social conditioning would allow them to hear. And that this is the root of almost all suffering on this planet. It's your bias and your social conditioning. And we all have bias, and sometimes bias is bad. The social conditioning is not good. Right? And it's just not good. And I think that's really the byproduct of most suffering. When I say social conditioning, I'm not talking about cultural traits. When we get into Taurus, we're having a discussion about cultural traits in a lot of ways. Right? Taurus represents the folk tradition, and every culture has a folk tradition, some of which overlap to some degree, and some don't. Some are vastly different than others. Right? But the thing that they have in common is that they use the elements of the earth to create the tools and the implements and the art and the craft for the life around them. That is the nature of Taurus, pure and simple. And so when I talk about social conditioning, I'm not, in some regards, cultural conditioning has its own challenges. But the cultural conditioning is an offshoot and a byproduct of a larger social conditioning. That's apparent. People say hip hop is, black culture, and there are people in the so-called black world that will disagree with you that it's not black culture. That has been kind of foisted upon the culture to identify with, and it's a kind of a false representation of their culture. And in that regard, now we're talking about social conditioning, social engineering, sort of overlapping on a particular culture. And we all have it to a certain extent. But I guess if we're, working with that theme, with the T-square, the sun, now it's in second decan, so it's in the Virgo decan, a little bit more mutable than that first decan. And this is actually a pretty good T-square to break up some rigid patterns, if you have them, and if you're willing to break them up. This is actually pretty good. To me, it would be the equivalent of cracking open a walnut with a nutcracker. Although if you know how to use two walnuts to crack one open. But that's a different story. So yeah, today's a good day it's because that sun is right here. It's got into that second decan, so it's a little more mutable, right? There's a little more wiggle room, and I'm starting to read some stuff about the tariffs. And now that, because again, when you talk about Taurus, you're talking about manufacturing. It's sort of the base materials for the goods that are made and ultimately distributed. And I just read a story this morning about Logitech deciding that they're going to stop producing a lot of their equipment in China. Now they're not coming back to the U.S. So Logitech is essentially relocating some of their production from China to Vietnam, where the tariffs are less. You're still not coming to the U.S. But this is what I'm talking about now, right? Like, so it's going to be interesting watching some of the tariff stuff as the sun goes into second decan Taurus. And I just read something yesterday that, and I just glanced over. I didn't get the full details, but the money started to come in from the tariffs. It's going to the government. So keep your eye on this transit of the sun through Taurus. And then 10 days from now, we get into the third decan, which is the Capricorn decan. And I have a feeling by that time, we're at 20 degrees, so it's going to slip out of that T-square with Mars and Pluto. But I have a feeling that that we're going to get a lot of layoffs coming. That's coming. When that sun hits that third decan in Capricorn, about 10 days from now, independent of the T-square, you're gonna see layoffs. So 10 days from now, I'm going to remind myself, and we'll look at that next 10-day phase, and we'll just see how accurate astrology is in my interpretation of it. I'm willing to put it on the line here, test it a little bit. And because right now this T-square is stressing production. This is exactly what it's doing. It's stressing production. And sometimes stress is not a bad thing. Sometimes stress can be a good thing. This is how great wines are made, because the grapes are stressed. But we're not all bunches of grapes sitting on a vine somewhere in Sonoma or Napa Valley. So this T-square is the cooker. It is the cooker, and it's something. And things are, like I said, Logitech. They're China. This is like a fucking trade war, and China. From what I understand, like there's a lot of non-activity in some Chinese factories and plants right now. Like kind of apparently also the major airport, like in Beijing, Shanghai, were like ghost towns. Like nobody's going to China to travel. Like, if you represent an American company that's manufacturing in China, you go there, you visit the plant, you go over like the specs and everything and whatever they do over there. That's not happening. There's the travel from the U.S. to China has dropped off, and these are people who have been at the airport. They're like ghost towns. So it's going to be interesting to see how this thing plays out in the next 20 days. And Trump's rating right now is at an all-time low. Like, and if you could, this is all, of course, poll dependent, but God, I just keep thinking about McKinley and how McKinley was assassinated. And McKinley was the tariff guy. And he was shot in Buffalo at the World's Fair at what do they call it? The Pavilion of Music or something like that, the Temple of Music. And he was shot, and he was shot by a radicalized union worker who had actually met with Emma Goldman, who was beyond a suffragette. She was a radical. She was literally a communist radical. And so you had a unionist who apparently had taken some umbrage with Mr. McKinley's tariffs. And that kind of gets into what David and I were talking about last night. At what point will people take the tariffs and Trump's economic model personally? And I know that this is not McKinley era, like security and all that, but I know David and I both we both agreed on this Mars transit through Trump's 12th house. It's going to be interesting. The next 20 days are going to be very interesting. And we've looked at this T-square, but haven't looked at it through the lens of the tariffs. And I think that is kind of an important lens to look through. So we'll keep track of that. Venus about to move forward, finally, getting ready to come into this conjunction with Neptune. It's the first Venus-Neptune conjunction of Neptune and Aries. I think it's an interesting conjunction. I mean, it feels like the impetus for starting and beginning new relationships, or even the cleansing and healing of older relationships, is in the air. The only downside of Venus Neptune is sometimes you lose your perspective. And Venus in Aries just wants to get there fast, right? It's like, yeah, let's go. Let's go to the altar, right? I mean, that my ex-wife had Venus in Aries, and I think we got married after knowing each other for 2 weeks. I swear, it's a true story. Absolutely true story. I mean, we knew each other for longer than 2 weeks, but we were kind of hanging out for about 2 weeks. And one weekend, what was it? Veterans Day weekend in Las Vegas. It was a conspiracy. It was a conspiracy. The universe conspired to bring us together and wind up, seeming to be two very disparate people, right? But she's got Venus in Aries. And it's like, let's go, right? I mean, not everybody has Venus in Aries is like that, but I've seen enough Venus in Aries in my lifetime to get the let's go part. And when you add it with Neptune, you throw a little Neptune in there, and it's, love is kind of in the air, or at the very least, how would I say it? I'm trying to find a word that rhymes with connection. Yeah, okay. At the very least, the instantaneous affection for the connection with a Venus-Neptune conjunction. But it also feels to me that people are very fired up. Right? Venus is also the relationship thing. It's what we are related to or connected to. And sometimes with Neptune, it can be very delusional with the Venus-Neptune conjunction. And Neptune, by the way, has slipped into its first degree. So it's not a 0 anymore. It will go back. Don't worry. Don't worry, Neptune. You'll be back to 0 again. But I can see this Venus-Neptune conjunction having a little bit of fanaticism associated with it. And I wonder if that's what was going on last night in David's chat with that Venus at 29 Pisces. And people, desperately trying to get noticed or heard. Kind of see that. What else? We got that moon Jupiter conjunction. This is the same conjunction that took place when Austin Metcalf got killed in Frisco, Texas. By the way, David and I hung out after the show. We must have talked for at least another half an hour. So the show didn't end. for me. But this is the same conjunction. And this is what we looked at on Sunday night with that Moon Jupiter conjunction, Gemini rising. And it was at 10 a.m. And you can see this, right? Like, as we move through the clock, this ascendant is going to get closer and closer to Gemini, and then Moon Jupiter literally rising in the chart, right? So we have Uranus on the ascendant, which I should probably talk about. It's definitely disruptive, at least at this point in time. As we go through the day, it won't be as disruptive. But I'm wondering how you people in other parts of the world, we have, we're just getting into Uranus on the ascendant right now. I wonder how the rest of you who are getting ready to experience later tonight or tomorrow have dealt with Uranus today. I mean, and by it, Uranus is actually in a pretty harmonic place. We have a sextile with Venus, and we have a sextile with Saturn. This is interesting. Like, the new thing could be interesting, or the new affection, or the new passion, the infection of passion could be interesting. Let's see. We're still dealing with that Mars-Neptune trine, which is creative. So all you creative types, keep creating out there. Lord knows we need that. Venus about to come in and trine Mars. I like that. A lot, a lot of passion. It's a lot of passion. Venus, Neptune conjunction, trine Mars. It's springtime. Go make some babies. It's baby making time. So I guess David's gonna have a son, huh? That's so cool. I'm glad he's having a boy on this go round. And I think it'll be really good for David. Really, it's supposed to be born on the solstice. It's interesting. So was Prince William. Prince William was born on the solstice, but I don't know. Diana might have had him cesarean to have him born on the solstice. I think that's the rumor, right? That she, like, that was the day, that was the time they had this thing kind of nailed down. That's what they do. That the astrology plays a huge role. Huge role. Oh my God! Yeah, there was a thing I wanted to talk to David about. He said something last night about John Dee and the navigating the seas or waters, and it was like I wanted to ask him about, I think Spain launched 3 attacks on England when Queen Elizabeth I was the matriarch, although some people believe that she was a he. But every time the Spaniards, and the Spaniards had one of the greatest navies in the world. They were right up there with the English. I mean, just look at all the land in the area that the Spaniards colonized. South America, Central America, the Philippines. I mean, come on, they were all over the place. So were the English. But every time they went to attack the English at sea, the weather was horrible. And the Spaniards lost a lot of ships during those conflicts. And I wanted to ask David if he thought that John Dee fucked with the weather. I think he did. That was my takeaway. Anyway, let's just talk a little bit about that Moon-Jupiter conjunction. Yeah, Moon and Gemini. People want to talk about what they feel. And Jupiter, I mean, I think we were kind of getting into that last night, right? In chat. So people just wanted to, get verbal diarrhea. And I think that the square with Saturn is kind of significant in some ways because, it feels to me like Saturn and Pisces, if you're viewed it through a different lens, can be, whoever you're viewing through that lens. If you have that lens, you can say, well, that person's a bigot. I could easily see that. And then you've got the moon Jupiter square, and it's like you're gonna amplify your bias. I started to go in on this whole Carmelo Anthony thing on Twitter, and they have you can put people in lists on Twitter. You can create lists and put people. I got put on the top bigots list. It's kind of a badge of honor, actually. Top bigots list. It was a relative nobody, so I wasn't too thrilled by that. It's like, if you're going to do that, be somebody. Anyway, all right, let's get into the star of the day. Star of the day. Star of the day. All right. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Now, this was kind of a tough one. I gotta say. Right. So your True Hemp Science star of the day is Anandamayi. Anandamayi, also known as the Mother, but not to be confused with the mother who was the spiritual consort of Aurobindo. That is a different mother. And I had to find that out as I delved into the chart of Anandamayi. But before we do that together, I just want to remind you that True Hemp Science is the sponsor of the show. And if you want to get some great CBD, I say this every day, organically sourced. Chris is a true alchemist when it comes to working with CBD. Go to truehempscience.com, check out what they have. You can always make an appointment to get further guidance around their product, your needs, whatever fits. But if you spend $100 or more, type in 15MINS if you do, or at least tell them, hey, Robert Phoenix sent me, and you'll get the goodie bag. And the goodie bag is a nice addition. You're going to get some gummies, and you will not be disappointed with the gummies. Raises his hand. $150 more gets you free shipping, and there's always, 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 always a 30-day money-back guarantee. So there you go, truehempscience.com. All right, let's talk about Anandamayi. Anandamayi. Okay. She has been called the living manifestation of Shiva. She was born into a poor family, so she's kind of at the bottom of the caste system. And at an early age, she was always in kind of a state of bliss. And like she was always like kind of, running around with a smile on, like nothing terrible seemed to faze her. And this all kind of bled into her schooling. And people in her village questioned whether or not she was mentally healthy. Right? What they didn't understand is that very quickly she would be regarded as an almost saint-like being because of her complete and unconditional expression of ecstatic love. So let's look at her chart. This is a very unusual chart, and it's kind of like where's the saint? Where is the mystical saint in this chart? And I'm going to do my best to sort it out and give you some life details here. All right, let's start with the moon. The moon is the highest planet in the chart. So for those of you who are new to how I look at astrology, the highest planet in the chart is your aspirational planet. That is the planet that you are moving towards, ascending towards, whatever the highest planet is. It can be in the 9th house. It can't be in the 10th house, though. Once it crosses the midheaven, it is in descent, right? So you could have a planet in the 7th house, and it's the highest planet you have. Some people I've dealt with have their highest planets in the 6th house. That's what they're dealing with, or that's what they're ascending towards, or that's what their goal is, right? So for her, it's up here, it's the moon, and it's in Sagittarius. And hence we have the mother. The moon is the mother, right? And this is where her chart ultimately resolves itself as well. The highest planet in the chart is how the chart resolves itself. So in the 8th house, it's kind of a different moon. You know, she has a lot of 8th house energy. Uranus Saturn conjunction, Scorpio. You know, you're when you get into the 8th house, you're dealing with chi, you're dealing with life force, you're dealing with kundalini, right? And so here we have Uranus Saturn conjuncting Mars in Pisces, and we have Ceres here, right? This is interesting. You know, Ceres is nurturing. And so what is she nurturing in people? She's nurturing ecstatic expression. It's a very interesting configuration. Saturn is going to be, and the thing about her is that she lived quite a long time, actually. She lived until 1984. So she's born before the turn of the century. She lives almost 100 years. That's longevity. That's your Saturn-Mars trine. You got a Saturn-Mars trine in your chart, you're going to have a better than average chance, right, of living quite a long time. So you better take care of your body. And so, yes, the mother. And she has, the other weird thing too, she gets, in an Indian tradition, she gets married at a very young age. She gets married at 12. And so here we have Juno, which is the planet. The asteroid. A lot of people will describe Juno as the asteroid of marriage. And her Juno is at 1158. So it's almost 12. She gets married at 12. And here's her Juno right on her ascendant in Aries. But again, if we're looking beyond, and by the way, her marriage actually endures, like it's an enduring marriage. But I don't think there were no children. She never had any children. And it feels to me like she was celibate in this marriage. From what I could read and kind of gather about the guy who she married was older, obviously, and they wind up moving to this one village where he becomes the caretaker of the grounds of somebody who's quite wealthy. And there was a period of time when she was young, like really young, where it was like she was experiencing like divine madness. And word was getting back to her own physical mother that she was not right. But her husband covered for her. And I can kind of see this over here with Chiron in the 7th house in relationship, right? That's like her wound. That's her wound. And yet her husband covered for her and essentially said, no, she's fine. She's just not getting enough sleep or whatever. No, she's going through these fits of like divine madness. And she was very interesting. Like there was this one, I don't know, I think she's in her teens, young, right? Like 13, 14 years old. And she creates, and I think it's on It's on a full moon, and if you look at her chart, she's just she's just born off that full moon. So I think she knew a little something about the moon, and so she did this ritual that she created herself, and she knew nothing about yoga. Right? She's young. She knows nothing about yoga, but she sets up this ritual on this full moon, and all of a sudden she starts going into these postures and poses which she had never done before. She immediately went into them, and as a result of going into these postures and poses, she has this kind of spiritual awakening moment, catalyst, whatever you want to call it, and it's all self-generated. Like she has no teacher. And this is the interesting thing about this woman. She has no teacher. And yet she becomes widely regarded as a really significant being. And it's also, she's got that Venus in Aries in the first house. She gets married young. I guess it's an Indian tradition, obviously, but nonetheless. And the relationship is kind of more in the first house than it is with Chiron over in the seventh house. I also feel like that this Mars square Neptune, Mars square Pluto, from an energy perspective is interesting. Right? We often talk about how Mars-Neptune squares are the leakage of Mars, but then you have Pluto coming in, and Pluto almost stops the leak. Like Pluto-Neptune here are like a force multiplier in the chart and involved in this mutable T-square. And, Pluto and Neptune, kind of, the Kundalini elevator up to the moon. And this is really how she's identified, right? She's the mother. The other thing that I found interesting about her chart is that she was born with that true node, like right on 0 Pisces. And that south node in 0 Virgo. And you can see this, right? Like if you want to see how somebody's nodes played out, like she just went straight for the mana, right? Straight for the mana with the true node in Pisces. That's where she went. I am here to just be a channel for the spirit. This is what she did, right? South node in Virgo. I'm not working. My work in this lifetime is spiritual. It's spiritual work. You can see it. This is how it played out. Totally how it played out. And then she has Vesta conjuncting her sun. That's another aspect of longevity. And in the Hindu tradition, she's considered a saint. Fascinating chart person. Jupiter also first degree of Leo. And she's got that Jupiter-Uranus trine. And it's an interesting trine, right? Because Uranus is at the end of Scorpio, so that's 6 degrees, 8-degree orb. It's still in trine. And when you get the Jupiter-Uranus trine, improvisation becomes much easier. So when you think about how she created this ritual and started to do the sutras, the poses, with to me, that's very Jupiter-Uranus trine. Like she's just going for it, right? And then the Jupiter-Saturn trine is like the initiation into a higher order. In a lot of ways, this is a really fascinating chart. It is not an easy chart by any stretch. Like I'm not sure people would want her life. Unless, of course, you are bedazzled by the idea of being a lower caste Hindu child bride who organically morphs into a saint that is the epitome of unconditional love. I mean, to me, also that true note in Pisces is just like unconditional love. In Jupiter and Leo, at the early degree of Leo, like, let's open up the heart. But I don't think this is like she had to give up a lot. She had no personal life. She had a marriage, and the marriage, I think, was good for her because her husband kind of normalized her living conditions. Like he went out, he made money, he was able to provide for her. Obviously, that was not her role in this lifetime. So, but on the other side of it, that was the extent of her role with her husband. And he kind of knew ultimately that like it started off as a child marriage, but he winds up understanding that he's like serving a saint. So very interesting. These are not lives that we have in the West, unless you're one of the kids at Medjugorje or, one of those places, Vision of Fatima or something like that. But these are not lives that we have in the West. This is in many ways very exclusive to Hindu culture. And you can make a case that in that regard that they are more spiritually advanced and that they would allow for this person to be an emanation of divine bliss. And not only would they allow it, but she herself recognized it. Today, she'd be, if this happened, if her life happened in America today, she'd be on meds. She would be on meds. And then she would probably have bouts of being in and out of institutions, especially with that Mars and Pisces in the 12th house. So there you go. There's your True Hemp Science story of the day. Anandamayi. Join us again tomorrow. We'll have another story of the day and another version of the Astro Weather. Please join us if you feel so inclined as I pull double duty and move over to 15 Minutes of Flame link in the show description. Couple of things we're going to cover, one of which is on the thumbnail, which you'll see. The other is RFK Jr.'s crusade against chemtrails. We need to talk about that. All I can say is it's about fucking time that a public official recognizes the fact that we're dealing with this chud in the sky. We're also going to be talking about Texas. Something very strange is going on in Texas. Texas is about to go blue. And it doesn't give me any pride to say this. Now, I was not born here. I'm not from here. I live here. And one of the things that I've always enjoyed about living here is they kind of leave you alone, on the political tip. Well, that's ending. And Greg Abbott is doing everything he can in many ways to alienate those of us who have some investment in the truth. All right. Hope to see you over there. In the meantime, take good care of yourselves. Treat each other well. Much love to you. God bless. Robert Phoenix signing off, and bye for now.